بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So inshallah we're moving on to Al-Majmوع. So in Al-Majmوع means plural. Some books have jama', some have majmوع. It's all ibaratuna shatta wa husnuka wahidu. That's the poem. Meaning everything is the same. It's the same idea, the same concept, just that different scholars use different terms. So whether you call it majmوع, whether you call it jama', it makes no difference. So we have Al-Khatimah. So as I said, then the المقصود الأول is an إعراب. Sorry, المقصود الأول is an عامل. المقصود الثاني was an معمول. المقصود الثالث is an إعراب. And now moving on to the خاتمة, those things which are not linked to إعراب or to معمول. It's just some miscellaneous rules regarding isms and فعل. So the first bab is regarding أحكام الاسم. And in here, we said we have المقدمة. In here we discuss about the masdar, the jamid and the mushtaq. In ma'rifah and nakira, we went through types of ma'rifah and the types of nakira. The types of ma'rifah and types of nakira. Then we went through tadhkir and ta'nith, mudhakkar and mu'annath. Then now we are discussing muwahhad and muthanna. And the last lesson we completed muthanna. Now we're moving on to al-majmوع. And then we discussed tasghir, nisba, and the adad, inshallah, afterwards. Then we go on to fa'il, and then a-khatima at the end, inshallah. So al-majmوع. وهو ما دل على أكثر من اثنين. Any word that shows more than two. Again, this definition has a bit of a shortcoming because, for example, the word qawmun, it shows more than two, it's not plural. But for now, it'll do the job. So the definition will do the job temporarily. There's a bit of technicalities to add to this later on in Kubra, inshallah. So anything that shows more than two is called a majmوع. Nahu qanitun. So qanitun, it shows more. Many people who do qunut, who make this one is to do dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وهو قسمان. Majmوع is two types. So before we go into it, let's have a summary of the whole overview before we go into the text. So we have al-muwahhad, which is basic, normal, standard word. Then we have al-muthanna. Muthanna is a jewel. After that we have al-majmوع. And in majmوع we have two types of majmوع. Majmوع salim and majmوع mukassar. This already came in the Arabic book, but just to make sure that everything we cover. And then you have mudhakkar salim and you have mu'annas salim. Then you have mukassar. And in mukassar, we have two new terms in here. مجموع قلة ومجموع كثرة. So a majmوع, it shows a little, and a majmوع, it shows a lot. That'll come right at the end, inshallah. We discuss that there, inshallah. Following so far? So this is a summary of what we're going to discuss. مجموع salim and مجموع mukassar. And the مجموع mukassar will have مجموع قلة and مجموع كثرة. Okay, then we have السالم. وهو ما لم يتغير صيغة موحده عند الجمع. The salim, the jama' salim, the majmوع salim, is that huwa ma, it is that word whose sighatu muwahhidihi, whose singular word did not change in the jam'i. When you were making it into a plural, the singular sigha stayed intact. That's called salim. Salim means to be intact, not broken, to be healthy, to be sound. So وهو darban, al-mudhakkar salim, and obviously mu'annas salim. مسألة. How do you make mudhakkar salim? يصاغ مجموع المذكر السالم. This is the noun of the majmوع. Yes, the majmوع مذكر salim is formed, is made بضم آخر الموحد. Number one is you make the end of the muwahhad, the end of the singular, into a dhamma, and then you add a waw or a ya with a noon. Okay, for example, ta'ibun. So the singular is ta'ibun, ta'ib, you give that a dhamma, and you add ta'ibuna. Yes, and then you say here ta'ibun, and if it was mansub or majrur, you would say ta'ibina. Yes, are you following? Okay, so moving on now, we have here ad-darbu thani. So mudhakkar salim. Now we have mu'annas salim. So in mu'annas salim, what do we have? Mas'ala. يصاغ مجموع المؤنث السالم بفتح آخر الموحد. The mu'annas salim is made or is formed by giving a fatha to the end of the singular form. Then you're adding alif and a ta. Yes? For example, abidatun. So you have abidatun, you give a fatha here and you add an alif. And then the i'rab will be atun or atin depending on marfu or mansub state. You following? That's how you make it. You know that from the Arabic book anyways. Next rule is تسقط نون المثنى والمجموع عند الإضافة. The noon of the muthanna and the noon of the majmوع salim. Yes, the noon of the muthanna and the noon of Majmuu al-Salim, Mudhakkar al-Salim. You should add that word inside. So the noon of the Muthanna and the noon of the Mudhakkar Salim drops at the time of Idafa, because that noon is like kind of semi-resembling a tanween. So for example, Musa wa Harunu Rasulani, they are two messengers of the Lord of the world. At the mudhaf form, we take off the noon. Yes, it's all basic stuff we've covered before. Okay, moving on to the Mukassar now. What is the Mukassar? وهو ما تغير صيغة موحده عند جمعه. So when you're making it into a plural, the singular form slightly changes. When you are making it into a plural, the singular form changes. نحو ركع is a plural of راكع. So if you look at it here, the word is راكع. What is it? راكع. Now when you make it plural, it's supposed to be ra, alif, kaf, ain. But then the alif drops off. ركع. ركع. So the singular form changes. So it is broken. You call this what? A broken plural. Why? Because the singular form has changed when we make it into the plural. Understood? وهو ضربان. These are two types. الضرب الأول مجموع قلة. The first type is مجموع قلة. What's مجموع قلة? وهو ما يدل على ما بين الثلاثة إلى العشرة. So what the Arabs have, along with having a plural. So plural, what do we say normally? We say that a plural is anything above 2. So 2 and above, meaning 3 or more, is plural. However, there's a bit slight one more detail to add to that. The Arabs have two types of plural. One plural is that plural which shows a meaning from 3 to 10. And that's like, it's more than 3, it's a plural, but it's not so many. It's not like 30, 40, 50. It's just what? Up to 10, between 3 and 10. This is called majmu'u qilla, qalil. It's plural, but a small number of plural. Yes? You following? And then the opposite of that is majmu'u kathra. And majmu'u kathra is when we have a number between 10, well, not between, 10 and above. That's called majmu'u kathra. So the Arabs have said, well, we have singular, we have dual, and sometimes we can have a plural, with a small amount of plural. We can have majmu'u qilla, or we can have a majmu'u kathra. Does everybody understand? So the two types of majmu' kathra and majmu' qilla. Understood? Is it clear to everybody? Yes, any questions? Now, what are the sigha of majmu' qilla? There are 4 forms or 4 sigha for majmu' al-qilla. The first is af'ulun. What is it? Af'ulun. For example, nafsun, one plural of nafsun is anfus. So anfus will show a small number, a small plural, as opposed to nufus. Nufus will show a larger number. So if the speaker wants to show he wants to show a singular meaning, nafsun, 2 nafs, nafsani. He wants to show a plural, but not so many, you say anfus. And when he wants to say a large number, nufus. Correct? Does that make sense? Similarly, af'alun. Af'al is another plural of jamul qilla. For example, athwabun. What do we have? We have athwabun. So athwabun is majmu'u thawbin. What is it? Majmu'u thawbin. What happens here? So the word is thawbun, singular. The jewel is thawban. If you want to say a small number of cloths, plural, you say athwab. And if you have what? A large number, you say thiyab. That's another plural. That's a jamul kathra. The third pattern of jamul qilla is af'ila, amti'ah. So mata'un means goods. The plural of this is what? Amti'ah. Is that clear? And the fourth scenario is fi'latun, fi'la, fitya, the plural of fatan. So you have fata, fatan is a singular, and the plural is what? Fitya. You following? You also get fityan as well. That's a majmu'ul kathra. So these 4 patterns, these are used to show jam'ul qillah. And the remaining patterns are used to show jam'ul kathra. Is that clear to everybody? Yes, everybody following? وَالدَّرَبُ الثَّانِي مَجْمُوءُ كَثْرَةٍ. A plural that shows abundant, large number. So مَجْمُوءُ كَثْرَةٍ. وَهُوَ مَا يَدُلُّ عَلَى مَا فَوْقَ الْعَشَرَةِ. It is that word which shows a meaning or shows members or numbers which are above 10. وَهُوَ مَا يَدُلُّ عَلَى مَا فَوْقَ الْعَشَرَةِ. It is that which shows something above 10. And what are the patterns of Jamul Kathra? ما عدا أبنية مجموع القلة. ما عدا, other than, it came before. So ما عدا means other than. And its patterns and its sigha, its forms are all the patterns other than. ما عدا is actually incorrect. It's ما عدا أبنيته, not أبنيتي. ما عدا أبنية مجموع القلة. ما عدا مجموعة أبنية مجموع القلة. So all the patterns other than or siwa, other than the مجموع القلة patterns are what are they? They are going to be what? مجموع الكثرة. Is that clear to everybody? So you have 4 patterns for qilla and all the rest are going to be kathra. Understood? Yes. Now one very important rule. Now that's very simple. So learn those 4 patterns, those are qilla, the rest are kathra. But one very important rule. This is very important. So in theory it's fine. You have a qilla, you have a kathra. But this needs to be understood here. What's the masala? إذا كان لموحد, when a singular word has مجموع قلة وكثرة. It has 2 plurals. Nafsun, singular. What's the plural? 2 plurals. Nafs, anfus, and nufus. So it has what? An anfus, jam'ul qilla, and a nufus, jam'ul kathra. Thawbun, 1 plural is athwab, 1 plural is thiyab. Fatan is a young man. Fitya is also 1 plural for young men, and fityan is also another plural for kathra. So if one word has both plurals, it has multiple plurals. So إذا كان لموحد مجموع قلة وكثرة. It has a مجموع القلة and it also has a مجموع الكثرة. تدل أبنية مجموع القلة على القلة وتدل أبنية مجموع الكثرة على الكثرة. In this scenario, it's very straightforward. The patterns that are for qilla will show qilla meaning. The patterns that are for kathra meaning will show kathra meaning. You understand? Like this is like obvious, duh. Yes? So basically saying, if you have both options, you have a majmu' al-qilla and a majmu' al-kathra, in that case the qilla meaning will show qilla, the qilla pattern will show qilla meaning and the kathra pattern will show kathra meaning. Understood? Yes? For example, anfus and nufus are 2 plurals of nafs. So nafs is the singular, this is the muwahhad. This is the muwahhad. And we have anfus. This is what? Majmu'u qillatin. That would mean when you use the word anfus, then it would show what? It would show the meaning of nafs between 3 to 10. You're talking about that many roughly. And when you say nufus, this is majmu'u kathratin. This will show the meaning of what? 10 or more. This will show 10 or more. Understood? However, this is very important. وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لِمُوَحَّدٍ مَجْمُوءُ قِلَّةٍ وَكَثْرَةٍ. If it does not have both patterns, either it only has 1 plural or it has multiple qilla patterns, unlikely, but most commonly it has multiple kathra patterns, then you wouldn't have this concept of qilla and kathra. Yes? So إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لِمُوَحَّدٍ, if the muwahhad does not have a majmu' kathra and a qilla, تدل أبنية القلة على القلة والكثرة. The مجموع القلة will show both meanings قلة and كثرة because you don't have a choice. You only got 1 plural. So therefore you would have that 1 meaning only. وكذلك أوزان الكثرة. If you have a singular word, it only has a جمع الكثرة. It doesn't have a جمع القلة. Then the جمع الكثرة pattern will show, it would be basically 3 or more. For example, simple example. The word qalamun is a muwahhad. In theory, aqlamun. What pattern is it? Majmu'ul kathra ya majmu'ul qilla? It's majmu'ul qilla. So in theory, this should show the meaning of 3 to 10 pens. But you say no, it will not show 3 to 10 pens because this word has only 1 plural. So this plural has to encompass both. Maybe 3 plus. The 3 to 10 and 10 plus, the distinction only comes about when you have a choice. If you don't have a choice, well, there's no choice here, so it's only going to have 1 word, 1 meaning. Do you understand? Are you following me? Yes? So the jam'ul qilla showing a qilla meaning, the jam'ul kathra pattern showing a kathra meaning. This only applies when that word has 2 options. Are you following? It's like, for example, if somebody has 2 pairs of clothes or more, he's got old clothes and he's got, so you can say, well, when he's wearing his old clothes, you will assume he's doing some work. he's in the garden, he's in under the car, or he's doing some fixing or building or cleaning. Yes? And when he wears his good clothes, you will say, well, assume that he's going to be going out, or he's going to go for salah, or he's going to meet somebody, or he's going to a program. You're following? So when he has two pairs of clothes, the two pairs of clothes have distinction. This is for this job, this is for this job. If somebody is so poor that they only have one pair of clothes, you will not be able to tell he will wear that for all his situations because he's got no choice. Do you understand? Does that make sense? So even though in the theory is you have Majmu' al-Qilla and Majmu' al-Kathra, this will only apply when the word has two plurals and you have a choice. If you don't have a choice, you say, well, the Majmu' al-Qilla will show both meanings, the pattern will show, it would show 3 plus, irrespective of what pattern is. This option only applies when the word has more than one pair of clothes. Is that clear to everybody? Yes? No. And number two, usually in text, like in Quran and that kind of stuff, you'll find it in poetry, high-level poetry. But in normal text, this rule, I don't see it being like very adhered to. In the Quran, obviously, Quran is eloquent, so it's the most eloquent book. Today, you'll find very subtle differences in the qilla and the kathra. For example, some places are ashhurul hajj and shuhur, iddat al-shuhuri inda Allah na'thara shahran. Some have ashhur, and you will see the difference there. Why is it shahrun used one place, shuhur used the other place, ashhur used another place? You will see that subtleties, even in some of the classical poetry. But in a lot of modern text, etc., you want to find it's used it's not like, it won't be wrong. It's a bit more loose. But in the Quran, it's all perfect. Understood? Any questions? So if we recap, we have muwahhad, a singular. We have muthanna as a dual. And under muthanna, we discussed the rules of hadiyani and manqus and maqsoor and hamrawan and kisa'an, kisawan. And then we have majmu'. And in majmu' we have salim and we have the mukassar. And in salim we have mudhakkar salim and mu'annas salim. And in mukassar we have jam'ul qilla and jam'ul kathra. And the rule regarding majmu'ul kathra and majmu'ul qilla. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك